Hey guys, this episode of the Old Boy Podcast, I have Liv Taylor Dodge. I will tell you what, this young lady, one word, determination. She is a welder, shipbuilder, but so much more. Loving mother of two boys. She decided to get into the trades with no experience, knew nothing about welding, goes on, becomes, gets welding certified, goes to truck driving school, learns how to be a roofer, cobbles together, those blue collar jobs to lead into welding, is doing some amazing things, has such great vision for where she wants to go, such tenacity, grit, hard work. This was a discussion I thoroughly enjoyed, and I believe you will too. Hope you do.
Man, do you hear that? Look at here. They're coming. They're coming. We're going to have a party.
I'm talking good old barbecue. Liv Taylor Dodge. Liv, good to have you on the show.
Hey.
So Liv is I guess we would say shipbuilder, right? I mean, you do a lot of welding work on vessels. So, I mean, I think that falls under the shipbuilding brand. Let's talk a little bit about, obviously we got to start with the trades and then what gets a young lady like yourself into the welding business. Is it, something that your family's just done? So it was something you'd been around your whole life, or just something you found and picked up?
Not really. I grew up on the coast my whole life, so I've always been around it. I kind of always knew it was like an option, but definitely not anything that I had never picked up a tool in my life other than like a hammer to like put some pictures on the wall. But I was in project management. I actually went to Mississippi State University, and I went to school for architecture, and I was in project management for like 3.5 years, and we had a sheet metal shop at the place that I worked at. And every day I'd walk through that shop to my office, and I'm like, it's just so much cooler than what I'm doing. But I never like thought to do anything with it, right? Because I had no background in it whatsoever. I had nobody that could, I just wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And literally, I love when people like ask me how I got into it or what started it, because I couldn't make this up if I tried. Like, I had a dream one night, literally a dream in my sleep, that I had asked my boss if I could work in the shop. And I woke up at like 2 a.m. and I was like, that was kind of a cool idea. Maybe I'll do that. And then I was like, I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. and be like, that was really stupid. But sure enough, like 6 a.m., I was in my boss's office and I asked him, and he was like, well, you either work in there and here, or you work out there. And I was like, wait, really? And he was like, yeah. And so I packed my whole office in a box. I started working in the shop that day. And so
you didn't give him a chance to change his mind. You were in.
No. He was like, you can start Monday. This was on a Friday. I started Friday afternoon.
I love it. And how was it transitioning from the office to the shop? Did everybody think it was cool, or they were like, what the hell are you doing in here?
They literally thought I was joking. I was running the sheet metal break, and they're like, what are you doing out here? I was like, I work out here now. And they had me like knee slapped, but they're like, and like walked away. I was like, oh my God, they really thought I was cracking a joke. I literally started from the bottom, and I went backwards. Everybody's like, because I was, I ran $3 billion roofing jobs, like beginning to end, estimates, contracts, proposals, like the bids, marketing, purchasing, all of it. I hated it. Was great at it. Hated it. And so, like, I literally had to start from like the bottom, on that side of things. But here we are.
Yeah, no, and so how long do you hang out there and kind of doing that work on the roofing and the sheet metal and that kind of thing?
So I was in the sheet metal shop for about a year. They did welding in there, like specialty welding. Mm-hmm. They did a lot of specialty work, like everything for like colleges and like cathedrals, the hospitals. So it was a lot of custom work. So they were like TIG welding copper, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. So I yeah, like the hardest of the hard. I'm like, that's it. And so I enrolled myself in like night school for welding, and I kind of just went from there. Kind of got my foot in the door with the industry. Like started, I did the sheet metal, and then I switched to like being a CNC operator, And then I went back to roofing while I was in welding school. And honestly, I couldn't find a job welding. Everybody's like, oh my God, there's always a need for welders. Well, they don't explain that. There's not a need for new green, fresh out of the door welders, okay? They don't want those welders. I couldn't find a job to save my life. And I actually ended up taking my first welding job was like across state lines because I was so anxious. And I was TIG welding stainless for $16 an hour.
Really?
And
Yeah, so you just took what you
could get. I couldn't pay
get.
my gas to get to work. And,
But at the same time, you knew you needed that experience on your resume, right?
Yeah.
To open up more opportunity.
yeah, I knew it's what I wanted to do. So that's why I tried to write it out. But then it just wasn't feasible. And that's when I started to learn how the industry for like trades workers runs. I had only known like office life, like where it's salary or it's hourly.
Mhm.
And, you know, what you make last year is what you're probably going to make this year, you know? I
Yep.
didn't understand how you make money and how that whole world of it works until I got out there. And that was kind of my awakening moment where I was like, okay, I need to reevaluate how I'm going into this industry. And so I went back into what I knew, which was roofing, while, you know, I was trying to get on my feet. And I was a roofing foreman for about a year and a half. And when I couldn't find, I'm telling you, like, I was all, once I got my foot in the door for blue collar, I was all about it. I was like, I made a list. Like of everything, every certification, license, endorsement, like everything that I wanted to do. And I remember laying in my bed, like laughing at myself because I was like, this is ridiculous. And I was like, I do not even know where to start. Like, I remember I was like, all right, object one, forklift certification. And then like, I like tried going online and doing this shit. And I was like, oh no. Like, but I found that list like a few years ago. Like, I told you about it existed. I did everything on that list.
That is
except
awesome.
Operating, I wanted to do tower cranes. That was the only thing I hadn't done. I was like, no freaking way.
Well,
Anyway, so
Hey, you're
when
young. You're young.
Sorry.
There's probably a tower crane in your future. I mean, I think we're gonna get it crossed off.
the closest school was too far away with me having kids, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'll take that loss. But when I was doing roofing, roofing kind of comes in seasons, and it was drying up towards the end of the year, and so I was like, okay, what else? So I put myself in truck driving school. I was like, it can't be that hard, right? Like, I already drive a big truck. It's just a big truck with extra buttons. Oh my God, I was so wrong. Like, the first day we open up the book, right? And it's like all these guys that are in there. I grew up around mechanic work and like working on cars. And it's the inside of the engine, like under the hood on this like big rig. And they're like, we don't need to go over this, do we? And they're all like, nah. And I was like, I fucked up.
I fucked up.
But I was determined, man. I ended up, I graduated top of my class. And I went over the road for a little while, but they put you in an automatic. Like, they train you.
Really?
In yes. Like, you learn how to drive in a 13 speed. They train you for 5 weeks in 13 speed. And then they put you on the road in an automatic. I was so bored. I literally, like, paid $7,000 for trucking school. And I was like, I was bored. And then that's when I got back into welding. I was like, okay, we're gonna figure this out.
You know the funniest part is you brought up roofing, which my grandfather was a roofer for 40 something years. I had his own roofing company.
What type of roofing?
Mostly just residential. And one of those guys, he'd been in it so long, like when it came, he would be booked out in, November through summer of next year. You know what I mean? Like, just one of those guys that had a sterling name. And I went and worked for him one high school summer because he really wanted that family business to get rolled over. He wanted to see that stay. And I had to break to him after about the second week of my feet just being completely blistered on the hot ass roof here in Florida. I said, and I don't like heights either. I'm like, Pops, I love you, buddy, but I think you may want to look for someone else to buy this business.
It honestly honestly, like,
It's such
one
hard
of
work.
the roughest. It's one of the roughest, just like at all times of the day, like jobs that I've done. Just as far as like, I am 5'2", like 115 pounds on a good day, and like I got half my body weight in tools on my belt, and then you got a harness, and like it's the shit that men don't think about that us women have to struggle with, but we can't complain about because we know what the fuck we signed up for.
Yep.
And like our harness, right? I'm short as hell. So like your little leash lanyard thing, when you're working on a standing seam roof, you got your seams every 16 inches. That hook just catches on every single thing trying to walk across the roof. It's aggravating as hell. But it is rough. It's very hot, and like I showed up my first day in steel toes, like I quickly learned. No, sir.
Not what you want to wear. And then the other one is my dad was a truck driver for Publix for 30 something years. Now he had it nice. He didn't have to do the over the road. He got up like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, delivered, and usually would take a second run. He'd be home by 2 or 3. So
Like
he didn't
regional.
just all like local, same day stuff. Which that over the road, man, that takes a special person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of time in a cab just with your thoughts.
Yeah. I first started in where was it? I can't remember the city. It was in Iowa. Iowa, I don't even know where it is on the map, man, because it is in the middle of nowhere.
Right in the middle of the country, just kind of hidden there.
Yeah.
Proud sponsor of the show, Welder Nation. Man, I will tell you what, if you are looking for apparel that is built for that trade, this is made for the 0.1 percenters. Those folks out there putting apparel to the test, working some of the most dangerous jobs in some of the most dangerous places. The last thing you can have is faulty gear, faulty apparel. Go check out weldernation.com. Feel free to use my discount code OldBoyPodcast for 15% off. One thing I was going to ask is do you have family around there to at least help with the boys with kind of this crazy schedule here?
So I have 50-50 custody of my kids with their dad. Their dad's a great dad. I mean, we've been separated since I guess it's been 5-6 years now. And, we both just do our own thing when we have the kids, but I do have them split 50-50. So when I go offshore, I align my hitches with that schedule. So
good.
How are you able to go offshore while you have kids? I go offshore when they're with their dad, and then I come inshore and I work at the shipyard doing shipbuilding when I have them. So I'm able to go home with them every night. It's kind of the best of both worlds for me. It sucks because I have confined spaces and I'm not making as much money as I should, and I got to work double to triple the hours. But, that is, as far as the lifestyle, the best that I could ask for myself, because I get to go home to my kids and I also get to make road money. I might have to kill myself to do it, but,
Well, walk me through what that looks like typical. When you go offshore, what's a typical week look like? And when, you're working in the shipyard, what's that week look like as far as hours in a day, and kind of how do you manage that?
Honestly, I really don't even vocalize it because people will just be like, you're just bullshitting. I will show you a pay stub. I will show you all of my pay stubs. But like, if I will literally lie and be like, oh, I worked 80 hours this week. No, the hell I did not. I worked 114. And people are like, oh, that's for a 2-week pay stub. Nope, it was for 7 days. We're on call, basically, which is why like my hours and my days are usually so like crazy and why I work so much. So typically they're 2-week hitches, but it's like on call. Most of the time I will be like in the bottom of a ship. I've quite literally more times than not been grabbed by my ankle and pulled like out of a hole. And they're like, hey, we need you to go to port. I'm like, when? They're like, right now. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, and I'll be like, 75% of the way done with that day shift. And I don't know, a couple hitches ago, that was on Friday. So I had already worked like a full week. We work usually like 10 to 12 in the shipyard, and we work 5 to 6 days a week. And so Then, I go to port. Port's a 3.5 hour drive. So I usually keep a little go bag. It's got like all my towels and my clothes, change clothes, whatever. And so I just kind of pack up and go. So that was like the full shifts. Then 3.5 hours of driving. And then I get there and they put me on night shift. I'm like, oh my God.
God dang.
Yeah. So I mean, like, sometimes like people can say what they want, but like I said, I got to do what I got to do.
Yep.
And it's either I make shit money or I make good money and give my kids a good life. And I just, with what I do and how my life is, I just got to grin and bear it. And so, like, that's the first day of my hitch. First day, and it was a 24-hour shift. And so when that happens, like how most rig, like, hands that are on, like, the vessels, like the deckhands, like, they work 12 on, 12 off. Okay, if we work 20 on, we don't get 20 off. Like, our next shift starts in 4 hours. So like, yeah, so you basically have enough time to, drag up, take a shower, get a little snacky snack, drag back out. Like, and we work 16-hour minimums when we're out there, and people were like, there's no way that you actually work 16 hours. Let me tell you, 75% of the time I'm the only welder on the crew. So
wow.
There's a 3-man welder job, and I'm the only welder. I just got to goddamn weld the shit out of it. And,
you got to weld like 3, girl.
So, like, anytime somebody's like, it must be nice, or there's no way, shut the hell up. Like, I earn every dollar that I make. And it's just like, people be like, must be nice. Let me tell you, the living conditions that I endure out there, like, most men probably wouldn't even, like, consider, like, so, I'm like, have you been in the dungeon of a vessel below main deck? No? Okay. Like, when you go to brush your teeth, like, the water's fucking brown, dude. Like, and people will be like, it must be nice.
They act like you're out there on a 4-star cruise ship just hanging out, drinking Mai Tai.
And then like, my favorite is when people are like, oh, like, you must get special treatment because you're female. Let me tell you, they make a point to give me as much not special treatment just to prove a point so that they can make it known. Okay, we are not giving this female special treatment.
Oh, yeah.
They give me the shit into the stick just so that it's known, so that nobody can come at them because they don't want to deal with it. Like, there was literally one hitch. It was awful. So there's one ship at port. It is the worst possible ship you can stay on. It is horrible. And then there's one ship it's like a cruise ship. There's heated floors in the bathroom. Are you kidding me?
You're like, let me draw that baby.
This is the biggest crew that they had sent out on a hitch. It was a massive job. We were doing they had a demob and then a mob out for like it was a huge job. And I probably had like 16 guys out there with me. Let me tell you what. All 16 of those guys got to stay on that cruise ship with the heated floors in the bathroom. Where was I? They didn't want to give up 2 beds because there's like 300 men on the ship. I was the only female. They don't want to give up 2 beds for 1 female, right? Where am I? I'm across the dry dock on the worst possible boat you can stay on, and there's nobody staying on it. Literally nobody. I'm by myself. And they put me below main deck. Like, why? Why can't I stay above main deck? And it was my birthday. Like, it was my day away from my kids. Like, there was no power on the ship half the time. I mean, I couldn't shower on the ship. Like, I had to go to another vessel just to shower at night. Yeah. And people would be like, must be nice.
Must be nice to spend your birthday alone on a ship under deck, under main by yourself with no shower. What?
Yeah. And like,
happy birthday to me.
Like, it was only like a 19-hour shift that day, but like, still.
Oh my gosh! Now that's the challenges of being an all-male crew. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Good Lord.
Yeah, and it's like but I know what I signed up for, so it's like I can't complain about it. But I do wish that it's like sometimes if I don't bring it to light, that because it's not something that men have to ever like endure, that they don't even recognize it, or acknowledge it. And so sometimes I do like times like this, I like to bring it to light in like, kind of a funny manner.
Yeah.
Or to where like, it doesn't sound like I'm bitching about it, but like, hey, like this is way worse and way harder for me. But like, that's fine because I love what I do. And that's why I'm able to be so successful at what I do, because it's like, your best soldier is the one that goes through the hardest battles. And,
You did right.
but at the same time, it does get tough and it does take a toll. So
No, I know. I'm sure it does. Especially, I mean, you just think too, just the logistics of doing that, right? Getting across the dry dock, getting on another ship, getting down below Maine, you know what I mean? Or going to another ship, getting a shower. I mean, you've only got 5 hours of downtime. I mean, you're going to burn up hour and a half just in logistics each way, Ridiculous.
And, I mean, just the dragging lines. Like, if I'm the only welder out there, I mean, a lot of times there's more, but a lot of the times it's just me. And it's like, so you're pulling, 500 to 1,000 foot of lead lines, your ground lines, your air lines, your extension cords, your gas lines, and it's all going under the dry dock, across the water, all the way up, 100 foot on top of the ship, and then all the way back down to the bottom if you're going to the engine room. And at the end of the day and in the beginning of the day, I gotta pull all that shit. Like, so I mean, it's not like just working an inside job.
Yep.
20 hours, like it is a lot.
Shitting and getting it. Yep. That's still a hell of a work day, especially to put them back to back to back to back to back. You know what I mean? For 2 weeks, that's
Yeah. And the thing too is that most people don't realize is like, I'm not quote like on a hitch schedule with the offshore vessels. I'm with the shipyard. So we go out for 2 weeks, and while all the other guys go home for 2 weeks, we literally, like, I drive home from port, I pick up my kids on the way home after a full shift, and then I go to work the next day in the shipyard for the whole week without a day off.
Good Lord, girl.
So it's like a lot of people don't realize that. They just think I'm on a hitch schedule, but I'm like, no, like.
You got the hitch and the shipyard.
Yeah, typically you work like 19 on, and then 2 off, and then 6 on, 1 off for 2 years.
So 25 days with 3 days off is your month, pretty much.
Yeah, which is why, I don't know if you'd seen it, I finally dragged up from that, because, I mean, I'm not dumb. I could tell I was killing myself, and, it's just, you're kind of good for nothing, and when you're that exhausted all the time. And so I finally put myself in school, and I just finished my 8th test last night, and I'm certified in 6G Tech, so I can switch from structural to pipe. So hopefully, like, make more money, work less hours is the end goal. But
Atta girl. Liv, I think one of the things that's really smart about that is you're realizing this is not sustainable. Like, running at this pace, you can't do for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? So you're taking a look at what opportunities are there, going out, getting your certifications. How much more do you have for the pipe? You said you've got 8 tests done. What's the total look like?
I got 2 left.
Oh, right. Oh, so it's right around the corner then.
Yeah, but it's like each test gets harder and harder.
Sure.
So it's like you kind of fly through the beginning ones, and then so this is like the long stretch.
Gotcha. Well, that's awesome though. That's great.
I'm nervous. I'm like starting all over.
But yeah,
I don't like it. Like, it's like nice because like when like you're a cute little tiny female, I'm sorry, like just straightforward. I have to deal with a lot of shit in the field. Like I look young, and so people immediately assume I have no experience, and they talk to me shit. Which is fine. I've dealt with it long enough that like I can grin and bear it. But like now I have to go all the way back to like step 1 of like I can walk the walk, but I can't really talk. I'm like, oh damn. You know what I mean? Like, I have to go back to the phase of asking stupid questions, because I ask a lot of questions. That's why I'm good at what I do, because I understand every way it works, but I understand every way that it doesn't work too.
Yeah.
So later down the road, I'm able to do my job better and without any help, and I can troubleshoot my own shit, because I do ask so many questions. But it's just, I won't lie, I'm not too excited to go back to. Once you become like a master of your craft, it's kind of
learning,
to reestablish yourself. But I'm just telling myself it's going to be worth it in the end.
Yep.
Because I kind of got to the point where I felt like I was capped out. Like, I felt like I was kind of getting held back in the part of the industry that I was in because I became a master of my craft. And it's like, I'm just the type that I can't stay comfortable there. Like, I want more. And everybody would ask me, they're like, why are you doing this? Like, you're too skilled to be doing this. And that's when, what I said about making, sacrifices for what works with your lifestyle. And it was more or less, everybody's like, why don't you go pipe? And for the longest time, like, it was just as simple as, like, I can't. Like, I had experience in pipe, I had experience in TIG, but not enough to, like, go down to the union hall, test out, and go take a contract. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a whole different ball game. Like, that is the most elite of the elite. Like, and in order for me to be able to go, TIG and go pipe, which is what I've always wanted to do because it's more specialty work, I would have to go to school. Well, I've been working 114-hour weeks. When the hell do I go to school?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why, like, I did those insane hours and those insane weeks so I could put money aside and go to school. And right now, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm at the end stretch and it's getting tight and it's getting rough, but I'm just trying my best to get through it.
You'll make it through, girl. You too determined not to.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going back to square one.
You figured out to this point. I don't think this one's going to get in your way either. Real quick, I want to go back to shipbuilding for just a second because I know there's a little bit of a difference between the welding that you do on a ship and then just more like traditional. Because, you guys have, there is a lot of stuff to cover on a ship as far as welding goes. Can you talk a little bit about those differences?
Okay, so one, I would say the biggest difference is a lot of people will see my stuff and be like, she's just MIG welding. Oh my God. They are both wire-fed processes, yes. Okay, I hear you. But, like, a lot of people will kind of talk out of their ass because flux core welding is pretty much only done in shipyards. Like, you're rarely going to see it used anywhere else, especially at the capacity that we use it at. And so people just assume, it's MIG welding. Let me tell you, MIG welding is like 2,000 to 3,000 degrees. Flux core welding is 10,000 degrees. That's like the heat of the surface of the sun. The shit is hot as hell.
The shit is.
The thing that goes with that is that people don't think about is there's controlling 2,000 to 3,000 degrees of heat. Then there's controlling 10,000 degrees of heat. Like, let me see you run a vertical at 10,000 degrees and see how you're able to control your puddle. Like, it is very different. And then also the fact that, like, shipbuilding is production welding. And that is something that I definitely had to condition myself to. I came from, like, specialty fabrication work where, like, you got to take your time to make things right, make them pretty. And in the shipyard, they drill into your brain. We are building ships, not Rolexes. It's not Rolexes. And, like, how many times I got my ass chewed for my welds being too pretty? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm like, that's just how I weld. You know what I mean? I'm like, I would literally have to take more time to, like, try to make them look worse. And I guess it kind of got to the point where, they left me alone because I'm like, dude, I'm still welding 3 times as much production as the next guy. Like,
yeah, let me do my thing.
I ain't no snitch. I ain't no rat, but, like, like, just look around, So eventually they left it be. But with that being said, with it being production welding, your fit ups are pretty brutal, and you're at the bottom of a ship, and you got to think it's decks on top of decks, and when it's still like when all the sections are being put together, you have like 80 people in one engine room, and you're on 4 different levels. You're all throwing fire on each other. Like, it is ridiculous. I'm like, how are you so hot? Like, it'll be the middle of summer. Flux core is 10,000 degrees. Like, you are covered head to toe in leathers and PPE. Like, you cannot weld overhead flux core without leathers. Like, look at my arms. I look like a you-know-what. Mm-hmm. It's not. Nobody looks at me and they're like, oh, those are welding burn scars. They're like, oh, she's a crackhead. For real. But, so yeah, I would say that's like probably the biggest difference is is the amount of welds that you have to do, the type of process that you have to do it in, and the conditions that you have to weld in, because like the confined spaces, like.
Well, and I mean, in those confined spaces too, it's you 10,000 degrees and no airflow. You know what I mean? Like some of those confined spaces I've seen you working on your profile, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and you're probably the only person on the crew that
for that either, man. Everybody's like, oh,
Really?
you must be making good money. No, I'm making the same amount as that first class premium combo welder that's sitting on a bucket on the ground over there. Bullshit.
I'm making the same as Bucket Boy.
But like that's what I mean as far as like it's shit that you don't learn about the pay until like you go out there and you go into the industry. It doesn't matter like how good you are or what you're capable of. When you go to like shipyards, there is a capped out pay. Once you are topped out, you are topped the hell out.
Yeah.
Like that is like I always liked. I literally started at the bottom, you know, like knew nothing. Like, you know, it goes apprentice, fourth class, third class, second class, first class, and then you go like premium combo. You know, you get all the extra little pays, and it was nice always having something to work to. But once I got to the point where like I was topped out, I'm like, I don't like this. You know what I mean? I didn't have that little push, that little drive, and it's like, I'll be straightforward. Once you get to that point and you work at a place like that, they walk all over you like a damn doormat because they know, like, they can make you do whatever they want and not have to pay you any more for it. And realistically, you're just getting better and better at your job, faster and faster at your job, and making them more and more money while you're not making any more money.
It's very important.
And there's a lot of times that, like, I wish I could be the guy that sits on the bucket, does the bare minimum, and doesn't give a flying shit. But I'm just not. I'm not. It's not in my blood. I'm not that way. And no matter what, if my name is going on it, it's going to be good work. And
Love it.
usually it just, I don't know. That's why I'm making this switch that I am in the industry, because I'm tired of caring more than my employer does. And you know, they'll love you when you're saving their ass because they put themselves in a bind.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as it's not, then it's just like, you're just another number. And it's like, for how much I care and how much I know, how much skill and experience that I have, like, I want to be appreciated. And it's like, I don't need a pat on the back, but at least for it to be like acknowledged of what I'm doing for y'all. And it's like, just in today's world, like, you know, you'll complain about how the industry is that, you know, everything, I'm sorry, but everything's run so sideways. And I will voice my opinion on this. Will it make a difference? Probably not. But am I going to make it known? Absolutely. Because like the old timers in the yard, and you know, they just don't even say nothing because they've been conditioned to it. And I'm like, yeah, but the more you don't say nothing is the more that they're just going to keep doing it, and it's just going to keep getting worse. And like, there's a difference between like shit not being right and shit being fucked, dude. Like, and you got to at least let them know, like, hey, like, this is not right. This is not cool. And one of which is like the conditions, like you were talking about, like there being no ventilation. Like, I don't work there anymore, so I don't care. I'll say it. Like, conditions are shit. They don't give a. I didn't even know how to do my own ventilation. I didn't know how to do my own ventilation for the first 6 months of being a confined space welder. Like,
Really?
there's no classes that you go through. There's no lifeline. There's no gas detectors. There's no fire watch. There's no pole watch. They drop you in a hole for 12 hours and then, like...
Hopefully you're there when they come pick you up.
Pretty much. And usually I can't say that, but I don't care anymore because it's not right. It's really not right.
No, I mean, that's terrible conditions. Good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, good. Man, that's terrible. And to put in 12 hours day after day in that's definitely
And
not
like,
safe.
and what I didn't like is once I got to the level that I was at, it's like I wasn't even welding anymore. It's like I was just repairing everyone else's. And this is new production. Everybody's like, are these repairs? I'm like, believe it or not, this is new production, my dude. Like, it's just that rough. And that's what I mean about like shipbuilding. Like, you can think you're a welder until you become a shipbuilder, and then you learn that you're a welder. If you're able to, you know what I mean? Because it's so bad. And it's like, anybody can learn how to weld a clean, beveled, like perfect conditions weld. It's a whole different ball game when you're at the bottom of a ship. You can only move one arm, see out of one eye, and the paint's full of zinc, causes porosity. If you want ventilation, well, now it's gonna blow air and push the gas away. So you have to turn, like, I have to turn my gas off, like, with my foot, like that, and then do my weld, and then kick my gas back on, or my air back on. Like, it's shit like that they don't think about. Like, and I have to do that all day long, and it's just it's a lot. And
you may have just came up with the welding workout.
I tell you, look, I haven't been to a gym in almost a decade. Okay,
you don't need to.
My
Jesus
is 9.5, and I haven't been to the gym since before I was pregnant with him. And everybody be like, "Oh my God, like, you have abs! Like, what's your diet and workout?" I'm like, dude,
confined
I've been to a
space.
gym in a decade. I eat like ramen noodles, Mountain Dew, and like Easy Map for breakfast. It's just my job is my gym, because like I'm so little. Like, a lot of people don't think about like when a man goes to pick up these leads, he can do it with one arm. Like, I try to not show when I'm struggling. But, like, it takes my whole body strength to pick up those leads. So, like, it takes a bigger toll on me.
But it's all day-to-day stuff. I mean, for sure. So where did the social media part come in? Like, when did you start wanting to try to and I know, obviously, you mentioned earlier the purpose behind it, just getting more, sharing more, and sharing the complete story, not just the FOMO part of it. You know what I mean? But, like, sharing a true story and getting more men and women involved. But, when did you decide to do it? And was that the factor? Or did you just want to, like, what were you thinking when you decided, hey, I'm going to start capturing this and sharing?
I don't think I've ever really, like, said this, but, like, honestly, it was an accident. I didn't know what TikTok was. I thought it was a video editing app. And I downloaded it and used it, and I put a video on there, and I was like, I don't really like this video editing app, and I deleted it. I deleted the app, and then TikTok started getting a lot bigger and stuff, and I was like, oh. And I, like, downloaded the app back, and that video had went viral, and I was like, oh.
No way.
Yeah. And so then I was like, oh, well, like, I have a ton of videos, like, maybe I'll post some more, and, like, I went from 0 to 1 million followers, like, within 12 months, but I got 300,000 followers, like, that first, like, night, and then another 300,000, like, 3 months later. Like,
The first night you got 300,000?
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's wild.
I turned my notifications off for everything that night. And that was like 4 years ago. I have not turned them back on since.
Yeah. I wouldn't anytime soon. Your phone better be dead in an hour.
Yeah. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Oh.
Everybody thinks I'm going to make all this money from it and stuff. Not really, no. Like, why the hell would I be working like I do out here if I was able to make, all this? I mean, I could, but it's like, you see influencers, once they hit about 1 million, it's like, what they talk about changes, how they talk changes, like, where they're at changes. Everything about them, of what made you follow them, changes. And the way I see it is I am able to make money with what I do and what I love doing. So I'm going to do that. And instead of making money off of this, which I honestly don't think I could do social media full time. I hate it. I don't even watch social media. But what is the point of having almost 3 million followers if you don't use it to make an impact? Mm-hmm. Everyone is using it to make money. And it's like, that's why I have almost 3 million followers, because everybody knows that about me. They like that I keep it real. And it's just like, I see what our country looks like. I see what the economy looks like. I see, I feel like I'm more of a man than most men are these days. And I'm honestly a total girly girl. I'm just not going to wear, like, neon pink at work. And I don't know. To me, it's more important to be able to make an impact on the next generation, because do you really think this generation that's coming up, the way that they were conditioned and everything that they were, told that they had to do with college and this and that, they took, all of the classes out of high school for like wood shop and welding. They took all that out. But, you know, I finished a year of college before I even graduated high school.
Yeah.
I just got left with 54 grand in student debt, and I'm a truck driver mechanic welder. Like, are you kidding me? And so I'd rather be able to use that to be a voice and be a face, because I didn't have that. I had zero support getting into the trades, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was constantly falling on my face. And it's like, if I could be, you know, that light for somebody else, give, like, you know, be able to educate or empower just anything. Like, I want to be that. But the second I do it for money, all of that goes out of the window. The respect is gone. What my platform stands for is gone. And it's just more important to me. Also, if I did it full time, what the hell would I film?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, if I want to do it full time, I'm like, okay, so I quit my job and then what?
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
I've got no content. and that's, you know, what you just summed up there, you know, in my role the last 8 years or so at Traeger, I've been responsible for building out our influencer teams and, you know, having a hand in that and what people we work with and this and that. And the one word that always is number one on my list of people I want to work with is authenticity, right? And that's how you've got that 3 million followers. That's why I've enjoyed the hell out of this discussion so far is, you know, it's just authenticity. And you are exactly right. There comes a time when these brand opportunities come around and the money gets in the way of the authenticity. And at that point, it's just payola. Like, to me, if you decide to work with somebody that's and I even hate the term influencer, but subject matter expert.
I do too. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it just got such a negative connotation. And it's like,
I don't tell anybody that what I do on social media. When I meet people, when I start working, I don't tell anyone, because there's a certain like stigma that goes with that. Like, you know, like that self-absorbed, always want to film themselves, and like, I can feel it. I can feel it as soon as I say that, like, I do, you know, social media content. I can feel it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like I post like oil change tutorials. Like, I had an oil change tutorial. It got 12 million views over that, I think. Because women want to learn it. They just have nobody to freaking show them. And it's like, I keep it real. Like, I forgot my pliers for my oil filter, so I stabbed that bitch with a screwdriver. You know, like, because that's real life. You know what I mean? Like, why am I going to show perfect oil change? And then all these women are like, oh, that looks so easy and so fun. And they go under their car and they just fuck everything up. And they never want to do it again. No, I'm going to show you what the hell you were signing up for, so you can be sure that you want to, like, give it a go. And you know, it's just like, but to sit here and try to explain that to people, like, that's the type of content I put out, because it's very rare that people kind of put content out like that these days. It's just like, I let people find out on their own. Like, they'll jump on my crew the next day and they're like, well, I found out you're famous. I'm like, surprise.
Don't worry, I'll autograph your lunchbox at lunch. That's how she's ready for me.
You know how many hard hats I've autographed at port?
Oh, that's awesome. Yes.
It never gets less weird. It's cool. Yeah. But it never gets less weird. Because, like, to me, I'm just like everybody else. I'm just like anybody with the boots on every day.
Yep. So, Dog, you're just shining a bigger spotlight on what you do and what the community does, which I think is amazing. We need that. We do. And I definitely echo.
And to normalize still being a woman is a big part for me too.
Yes.
There's a lot of women that feel like they gotta, you know, dress like a man, talk like a man, walk like a man, act like a man to be able to do a man's job and do it well, if not better than a man. No, the hell you don't. We can still put glitter on our eyes. Okay, I got sweat and looks like glitter, but like, you know, like, I wear jeans that fit. I wear work clothes? Yes. It's finding that balance, right? Like, I've got Ariat work jeans on, but like, they fit, right? You know, and it's like, I got my cute little shirts, and I got different colors for my pearl snaps. Like, you can still, I usually got a pink bandana, right? Like, it's a balance. And I try to normalize too that, like, you can still be a woman and feel cute, but handle yourself in a certain way that you are still respected in your field. And people can look at the back of me when I'm welded and not wonder, is that a 12-year-old boy or is that a chick? You know? just because like I don't care about how I look for other people. I care about how I look for myself. Like I'm already doing a man's job. I don't want to feel like a man. I just don't because I'm a woman. Like, and it's for me to like feel good. And I just feel like so many women get pressured into like, you know, having to be a certain way so they don't like. I don't know. It don't have to be like that.
No, it doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. One of the things talking about liking to be a girl and occasionally getting a little time off, I saw you went to Bonnaroo. How was it?
Oh my God, I love it. That was my 4th time going. Like, that is literally the one thing I do for myself every year. Like, I buy tickets as soon as they go on pre-sale. Then it's always the weekend after my birthday. Mm-hmm. And like, I won't even lie. I realized, like, looking back, I hung out with friends socially twice last year.
Wow.
Twice. Because I was working so much.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't
And you got 2
I
boys.
was working so much. And I was very excited for Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good weekend to get away from the world. It is like 80,000 of the nicest people you will meet, and everybody's just there for the music. It's literally like man versus wild for 4 days. Like, but I love the aspects of it because everybody tent camps next to their truck. Like I took a bath, you know, on my tailgate every day. But it's like the fact that people are willing to go to that extent just to enjoy the music and the atmosphere.
Yep.
It makes everything there very genuine. And it's a very refreshing atmosphere to go to from today's world. And, you know, even just from our industry.
All right. Proud sponsor of the show. Better damn well be Whiskey Bent BBQ. So this is a brand that Nicole and I started a little over a decade ago. You can find our rubs and seasonings in about 500 different retail locations throughout the U.S. Academy Sports, select Ace Hardwares, and then obviously here at our store in Lakeland, Florida. If you want to go check it out, please feel free to. whiskeyBentBBQ.com, and you can use my discount code OldBoyPodcast for 15% off.
It's very communal, and it makes you realize when you get a group of like-minded people, like we're not as divided as we think we are. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's really the truth. It's just the way the media likes to perceive that we are all at each other's throat or make us be at each other's throat. But no, that was awesome. And then how was Posty?
Oh my God, that's like the 3rd time I've seen him be as good as ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge Post Malone fan. I got an opportunity, Super Bowl. We cooked the Dan Patrick show. We cooked the Super Bowl every year, and it was in Vegas this year. And Dan's guy in the back room, Mario, called on Friday night, and he was like, "Hey, you guys left town yet?" I'm like, "No." He's like, Post is playing for about 300 people at a private Uber party. I got 2 tickets.
No way.
If y'all want to come. Open bar, whole 9 yards, Fontainebleau, and we went, and he was so good. The thing was, nobody from the Dan Patrick show knew that I was like the biggest Post Malone fan ever. So when he started playing,
I'm a huge Posty fan. I listen to Posty like half the workday under my welding. On repeat.
Yep.
The only thing that sucks is the show I was most excited for was Red Hot Chili Peppers. And my dumb ass lost my inhaler, which is like just like another part of, you know, the industry. I had asthma growing up, and then I grew out of it. Guess what? Confined spaces and shitty ventilation.
Brings it on back. Brings it on back.
I didn't know that was a thing until like it was a thing. I'm like, this is fabulous. And I lost my inhaler, and then I had an asthma attack, and literally this is what I mean about Bonnaroo. People are so great and genuine, and like everybody helps everyone there, and everybody's just happy. I was so lost. It's 700 acres there. Okay, you can't tell which way is what, and there's only one medical tent that's got breathing treatments, and I'm like, anyways, there's just this random guy right here, and I was like, do you know where the hell we are? And I look at he looks up at me, and I look at him. I'm like. He was just a hot mess as much as I was. Like, I had lost all my friends that night, and phone service doesn't work. He's bleeding all down his leg. He was looking for medical, too. I'm like, none of your friends. He's like, I don't know. Like, we went on a mission, dude. Honestly, it was, like, one of the best parts of the whole weekend. He piggybacks my ass for, 2 miles until we got to the medical tent. And then we get there, and, so I could hear Red Hot Chili Peppers playing. I was getting my breathing treatment in the medical center. I was like,
damn. Yeah, it's definitely my bucket list. I've never been to Bonnaroo, but I've been to some other big festivals. But yeah, Bonnaroo is definitely on the list of ones I want to check out.
Yeah, it's unlike anywhere else. Put it this way, I used to go to a bunch of music festivals, and once I went to Bonnaroo, I have not been to any other ones.
Oh, now you're making me really want to have to make it happen. All right.
Well, it's the camping side of it. It's
Yeah,
the fact that you don't leave that atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like all these other festivals, like you drive to wherever you're staying, whatever, Airbnb or whatever you have.
Yep.
And, you're leaving the environment, you're getting in traffic and, pissy. And when you camp tent there, you never leave the environment. And then not only that, like you meet people, 80,000 people that are tent camping around you from all over, some out of the country. And so it's a really good opportunity to just genuinely make connections with people.
Yeah.
And like you make groups and like, you could go, so many people go by themselves because like you make so many friends and stuff. And,
that's awesome. Two more things I wanted to hit on before we wrap up because we have blown through this hour pretty quickly.
Yeah, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I've loved every minute of it. It's been awesome.
Talk a lot.
No, hey, that makes two of us. Don't worry. we can always have you back. We can always have you back on because we haven't even touched the mechanic stuff, which I want to talk about some more. So we'll definitely have you back on. But two that I wanted to hit on is one. I've worked with the guys at Trollco kind of since COVID, and I know you have too. One, talk about working with those guys, and two, I think you have by far the most popular 5.9 whiskey video that's been released yet. So talk to me about those two.
So how I first found out about Trollco was because I had made myself a hat like on Etsy, and I used to be a digital design manager. I am a whiz at some Photoshop. Your brain can think it up. I can make it happen in Photoshop. Anyway,
girl.
so I'd made me a logo that said support blue collar babes and had like a little welder chick on it. I think it's back there. Anyways, when I had posted it, like everyone was asking me, they're like, "Oh, is that Dirty Hands Clean Money? Is that Trollco?" I'm like, "Who is that?" And so I looked him up, and that's when I first started talking to him, and we started working together and stuff. And then with the 5.9 whiskey, funny thing about that, like that cracks me up that you tell me is like one of the like most favorite videos or whatever. Because when I tell you I winged that shit and videoed it and like edited it in like 40 minutes flat. I was on a job site, okay?
No, Jason told me the story. He said you like ran out on a job site, shot it real quick, and then went back to work.
He made me feel so bad. They were like, "Girl, we were banking on you, like, to have the video for this release," because like when the moment came that I realized, like, oh my God, like it completely slipped my mind. Like I had it in my calendar, but I also had our last podcast in my calendar. Like, I'm nonstop, dude. And
we got you.
Not that I don't care or that I'm lazy or whatever. It's just I try to send people just, But anyway, so I was on a job site, and he had brought it up to me. And, at first I was just kind of apologizing, like, man, like, I'm 45 minutes from my house. Like, I'm just really sorry. And then he made me feel really bad because he was like, we were really banking on you. I was like, I didn't know this. Like, I just kind of thought I was like, oh, yeah, just one of your ambassadors. And so I don't think I even went inside. Well, I went inside to grab the bottle of whiskey. And at this time, I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Like, when I tell you, like, I lived with the bare minimum for a very long time. Like, had a table saw in my kitchen, no garage for years.
Had a table saw in my kitchen. That's some old girl shit right there.
Like, when people say must be nice, I'm like,
yeah.
You don't even know. You don't even know. Like, y'all know what I let you know. You know. So I went in and grabbed that bottle of whiskey. I literally, in what, like, I was wearing, like, threw my tailgate down. And even my landlord was, like, right over there. I could see his little side. I was like, what is this bitch doing? And I filmed that whole little video on my tailgate in the parking lot of my apartment. And,
oh, my God.
And he was like on my ass. He's like, "Are you done? Are you done? Are you done?" I'm like, I'm trying. And like, I'm trying to make it a good edit. So I'm sitting there on my couch. I'm like, going. And then I think it ended up being like 30 minutes later or something like that. I was like, this is the best I can do. And I sent it. And they were like so happy. I was like,
that is so awesome. But that's also part of that is being good at being creative too. Like being able to kind of pull together something that awesome on short notice is a blast.
I have a meet and greet at FabTech in Orlando. In October.
When?
It's October 15th and 18th. I think FabTech Expo is.
Yeah.
And the 16th is my meet and greet at the Pipeliners Cloud booth.
Well, if depending on what your travel looks like to Orlando for that, my store and studio is like 45 minutes from Orlando. So if we wanted to have you back on and it worked out, I live in Lakeland, which is right between Tampa and Orlando. So
come pick me up from the airport because I haven't figured all that out yet.
Oh, I got you. I fly out of that airport all the time. All right, I'm gonna put that down. I'll stay in touch with you. It'd be awesome to have you over.
Yeah, I would love that. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm excited for the meet and greet, yes. But I'm most excited to geek out at the FabTech.
Yeah. See all the cool stuff, right?
Yes. I will. If you start a conversation with me on the science of welding, you better sit your ass down because we're going to be here for a while.
I love it. But that's true passion. You know what I mean? That's why you're working your ass off, but you're enjoying it because you're doing what you love and you're providing for your family. And that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we got you. We've got the FabTech in October 16th in Orlando. We've got the new merch line that people can keep up with on Instagram and TikTok. Anything else we want to hit?
I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much. And by the way, hang on for a second after we end here. We just want to make sure everything uploads on your side. Forgot to tell you that before the episode. I know you have such a busy schedule, and I am so glad you were able to drop the kids off, break off with us for an hour, and just chat. I absolutely love your story. I love your determination. I love the continuing education. I love getting into pipe and what you're able to do now with your brand and all of it around being authentic and continuing to grow the trades, whether you be male or female, whether you be 18 or 80, if it's something you want to get into, you're kind of helping foster that culture. And that's what we want to be a part of here. So you've got fans here for sure. And anything we can ever do to help, please don't hesitate, Liv. We respect what you do and wish you all the best and look forward to connecting again soon.
I appreciate that. I'm glad I got to get on.
Awesome.
Until next time. I have so much more. Like, you don't even know. But this was the tip of the iceberg. So
I love it. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I look forward to learning more and chatting more with you. For all you guys that hung around for our discussion, I hope you really, really enjoy it. To me, this was one of my favorites. I love the grit, the determination, and not just talking about it, but fucking doing it. That's the difference. Until next time, you guys take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Old Boy Podcast. Please subscribe, like, set your notifications, whatever you got to do to make sure you're getting the latest episodes. Also, feel free to go back, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Get some of the past episodes, check those out, and always feel free to check out our socials, Old Boy Podcast. Thank you so much.